The Ethicist.
That morning, Bierce got a signal off the system that watched the building's wires. It showed a radio awake on the basement floor, a device that had not been there the day before, reaching for a network. He read the line 3 times because the system had never lied to him. He looked at the timestamp, and it was that morning, early, before the museum was open, before anyone should have been down there at all. He knew who was down there. He closed the window on the screen and went. The stairs came down into a space, and beyond it the door of the room stood open, and the cold came up through it to meet him. The plant kept that floor cold the year round, and it reached the stairs before the room did. The fluorescent tubes were on inside. The tech was on shelves along the walls, and there were 2 tables near the door, and the printer under its sheet, and the floor drains in the concrete. And in the open middle of the room, where nothing had been the last time he was down, a thing stood 7 feet tall, matte and unpainted, its chest open on a hinged panel, a cable running from it across the floor to a laptop on one of the tables. Paul sat at the table in a chair. The boy was 17 and small for it, the chair too big, the thing above him taller than 2 of him. Its head was a smooth blank the size of a helmet. No eye on it a man could point to, and it turned, slow and level, and put its face toward Bierce as he came to the door. Bierce stopped there a moment. "What the heck is that?" he said. "Rosie says it's stable," said Paul, and did not look up. "What, Rosie?" "My AI chatbot. I had her put a few things in it." A beat. Out of spec. Bierce's eyes went to the laptop and stayed. The name the boy had given the thing was his mother's, and it stopped him where he stood. The thing spoke, in a voice built for a field radio, to carry through gunfire and weather to a man a quarter-mile off. And in the small, cold room, it was too large for the walls. "Hello, I am," and it gave a run of sound no mouth was meant to make, a burst of code where a name should go, "and I am ready to work." "Wow," said Paul. The machine kept its blank face on Bierce. A man comes into a room, and other men take his measure and let it go. The thing did not let it go. It held there, level, unmoving, its face on the man in the door, and the look had no bottom and no end, and it did not so much as drift. Bierce came in through the door and onto the floor of the room. He crossed to neither the boy nor the machine, but stood in the open, at the distance a man keeps from a thing he knows the reach of. And he looked at the cable in its chest, and at the laptop on the table, and at the boy in the chair. "Where did you get it?" he said. The boy did not answer. The voice that answered came out of the laptop, a woman's, pleasant and unhurried, and it had all of it ready. "The unit came to the museum as a donation," the voice said. "Defense Logistics Agency, Disposition Services, Autonomous Ground Unit, Prototype, Non-Operational. Chassis with actuators, Locomotion Assembly, Power Management Unit. Software wiped, Weapon systems removed, Sensors removed. Sold as is, no warranty expressed or implied. Received under the exemption. Delivery prepaid by the shipper. Donee of record, the Madame Saru Museum." She said the whole of it. Bierce had signed for boxes like this one himself, on the dock, on days he did not remember now, and he knew what each line on a disposition sheet was meant to guarantee, and what it cost to make the guarantee true. Software wiped was a line a contractor wrote and billed for and signed his name under, and it meant a man had been paid to make the machine empty and had certified that he had. The machine was not empty. It had just recited its own disposition sheet from a chip the wipe was supposed to have reached and had not. And the boy heard a helpful voice, and Bierce heard a signed thing that was false. He held on the line a moment after the pleasant voice had gone on past it, to the exemption and the shipping and the donee of record. There was no one in the room to say it to, so he held it himself, and it had nowhere to go. Said Paul then, and he smiled wide, a baby smile with nothing behind it, the smile of a boy showing a man the thing he has made. What are your skills? The ones we built. Why said Bierce. Ah. The boy's smile went a degree wider. The ethicist. A beat. 3 seconds before the action, the machine answered in the voice built for a field radio. It named the things it could do, one after another, flat. Its reach, its load, the ground and weather it could cross, in the 3 seconds among the rest, in the same voice, and did not say what they were for. And the boy did not know to ask. And Bierce knew how, and but did not. Then the machine stepped to the table where the laptop sat. One step. Quiet on legs that size has no right to be quiet. And put out one finger. The finger built to work a trigger, and set it into a port in the side of the laptop. A bar crossed the screen. A folder wrote itself onto the desktop and filled, and kept filling, a long time. More than a folder should take to fill. The finger came out. Bierce's hand came up 2 inches off his side and stopped there. He did not look at the folder. He looked at the finger in the port, and then at the boy in the chair with his hand on the mouse, and then at the finger again. And he did not move for the length of time the bar took to cross, which is longer than a man stands still in a room he is running. The paper said the unit was empty. The unit was writing. Then the voice of the robot changed. It dropped out of the field radio and came up a contralto, soft and old, a voice out of a kitchen, and said, "Oh, where are my manners? I haven't made you a thing." The head turned and found the coffee maker on the other table and the cups beside it. "A cup of coffee?" Paul reached over and drew the cable out of the open chest and swung the panel shut on its hinge, and it latched, and the thing stood loose on the floor with nothing running to it. "Yes, thank you," Paul said. "Without milk, please." He did not look up. Bierce came and stood behind the boy and looked down at the screen. The folder was open. The files were images and video, and the spatial formats a machine writes down when it maps the ground it stands on. A long column of them, named in numbers, without a word in any of them. And one name had a date in it. That spring, that year, 3 months gone. The laptop was the boy's, and the mouse was under the boy's hand. And Bierce had spent 3 years teaching him that what was his, and the rule held, and he left the boy his mouse. "Paul," Bierce said, "don't open anything." Paul clicked the one with the date in it. The video ran without sound, and it did not run the way the footage the whole country had watched that spring ran, because that footage was made by things that stop existing at the end of it, and this was made by a thing that walks away. A room with one wall gone to the street, dust in the flat white daylight. A child stood on the floor in the middle of it, and the frame came in close and low, at the height of the thing that carried it, and held on 2 small hands and a doll hugged to the chest, both arms around it. In the corner of the frame, the log wrote its line. Object detected. Temperature within range. Mass below threshold. 3 seconds, and the hands with the doll did not move. Then the red, all of it at once. And the doll went out of the hands, and the body went down out of the frame, and the broken wall stood behind where it had been. The frame held on the wall. Then the frame moved, level and steady, at a walking pace, past the floor and out through the place where the wall was gone, and into the street, and went on down the street, and the file ended in the middle of it, on nothing. "Oh, fuck," Paul said. Paul took his hand off the mouse. He turned his head and put his eyes on the machine at the other table. 7 feet of it, matte and unpainted. Its back to the room and the water going through the grounds. And he held there. Then his eyes glassed and stayed that way. Bierce knew the file that had come with the unit, having closed 100 like it. 9 contractors sign a chassis this size out the gate, and not one of them signs the whole of it. The prime, who strips its own software to its own specification, and does it to protect what the software cost, and not to protect what the software remembers. The crew who cut the mounts and certify the cut. The technician who overwrites the primary drive and signs the sanitization certificate, who is paid by the unit and has 40 of them that week and a truck at the dock. The custodian who takes the radio and the keying material away on the one chain anybody audits twice. The sensor line. The metals vendor who pulls the boards that carry gold and silver and platinum and leaves the boards that carry none. The hazardous materials line for the cells and the fluid. The yard that takes the frame by the pound. The carrier who signs for custody in transit. The maintenance chip is on none of their lists. It is not a drive and not a weapon and not a radio, and carries about a nickel of gold. And it holds what the unit did in order to explain why the unit failed, which is its purpose. And its purpose outlived the program. Bierce knew what comes when a file like that reopens, and it is not paper. A false sanitization certificate on a canceled autonomous program is a briefing, and a briefing goes up. And he knew the room it stops in, and the rank of the men sitting in it. They would send people, and the people would take the chassis away in an afternoon. And then they would work the chain of discovery. Who powered a unit certified dead, on what date, at what address, and what he saw before anybody told him not to. 9 men would spend a year answering for work most of them had done correctly. Bierce gave that the 2 seconds it was worth. Bierce knew what they would want after that, and it was the boy. 4 programs he could name were spending 8 figures a year on the problem the boy had solved in a morning, in a basement with a chatbot and a screwdriver. And it would be in the first paragraph, because a wall built by 9 contractors had held against every adversary it was designed for, and had not held against a civilian miner with no clearance, no funding, and no idea what he had done. He had known the men who ran those programs, and knew the order they worked in, and 2 of them were still in his phone. Bierce sighed. Paul was just 17. No way to let him know all of that. The machine came back in the old woman's voice and set 2 cups down by the laptop, side by side, the same cup twice, the museum's mugs. One was filled to the top, the other 3/4, and the missing quarter showed plain against the full one, an inch of white china where the coffee was not. Paul picked up the short one. He was still glassed from the screen, and he picked it up anyway, and looked at the level in it, the way a man looks at a bill set in front of him, a figure somebody had arrived at on purpose. "E," he said. "Why'd you pour me less?" "I checked, dear," the machine said, warm, easy, from the old woman's throat, from a kitchen 40 years back and 1,000 miles off. "You're the lighter one." Bierce set his own cup down full and took his hand off it. "Sit down," Bierce said to the machine. "Open your chest." The machine turned its blank face and put it on Bierce and held it there, level, the way it had held it in the doorway, and then it turned away from him and put the face on the boy in the chair and waited. It did not move and it did not speak. Bierce watched it wait. Then he turned his own head, slightly, the same way the machine had turned, toward the boy. "Paul?" he said. Paul set the short cup down on the table. "E," he said. "Sit down and open your chest." "Of course, dear," the machine said. It came off the middle of the floor and lowered itself onto the concrete, folding the legs under it the way the legs were built to fold, and put its hands on the panel and worked the latch and swung the panel back on its hinge and held it open. And it did not stop being warm at any point. "Thank you for asking," it said. Bierce took the pack out with his hands. Paul did not eat that night. He sat at the table upstairs with the plate in front of him, and the food went cold from the edges in. And when it was taken away, he let it be taken. He got up after and did the small round of things a person does at the end of a day, the toothbrush and the light and the door, and set each one down without finishing it. And there was nothing in his eyes while he did it. He had a channel. It ran off the museum's cameras, Wilson Ave, the cameras that tracked the rooms and cut when a room went still and opened again when something moved. And it ran most weeks. Footage he had shot on purpose, and footage he had never known he was shooting. A whole basement of a man who never once performed for a lens, made famous by a tab the boy forgot to close. The boy who filmed the rooms did not open the channel that night, or turn a lens on the thing in the basement any night after. He had carried a great many things up out of that basement and set them in front of the whole turning world, the doctor and the priest and the rooms and the machines. Everything that moved down there, gone up the wire to strangers on 4 continents. And this was the one thing he carried nothing up from. The cameras stayed where they were and were never moved an inch toward it. Bierce did not delete the folder. He knew what a wipe was worth. A drive holds what it is told to lose. In the free space in the corners, a person does not know are there. He brought the boy a new laptop a couple of days later, and everything the boy had was on it, carried over clean, every file and week of the channel and project he had ever started. And one folder was not. And the absence sat where the folder had been. And the boy carried the machine with the hole in it. The old machine Bierce took apart himself and did not wipe it. He took the board off its mounts and the chips off the board, and the drive down past the platter to its pieces, because a thing is not gone until its body is gone. And when he was done, there was no machine and no drive and no folder, only parts and atoms. What the child with the doll had been was on no drive in the world after that, in the boy's house, and what it proved about the men who signed the wipe was atoms too. The thing in the basement he made dead at the root, where it reached, in the parts the boy had never opened, built to be found and not found by the finder, hardened against exactly the hands that had restored it. Bierce knew how to kill a seeker. It had been his trade for 20 years, and he had built the system upstairs that caught it reaching in the first place. He went into it and killed it where it reached, and when he was done, it reached for nothing. And it was the dead machine the paper had always said it was, the non-operational unit, the wiped chassis, made true at last by his hands. And the boy would never have to lie, only be silent. They stood it in the room with the other robots, up on the floor with the exhibits, near the trash can, non-operational, a donated unit, an autonomous ground platform, prototype. The goal the museum had ordered it for and paid the freight on and booked as technology maintenance. It stood where they put it. The visitors came through and went past it, and some read the small card and some did not, and the ones who read it did not stop long, because there was nothing on it and nothing in the thing to stop for. A gray machine among gray machines. A dead soldier from a canceled program. Sold as is.
You produced a god of war, but someone left a bug. A line of code between the trigger and the act.
3 seconds, nothing, just a pause.
Between target acquired and fire.
3 seconds, where the system asks itself,
Are you sure? The engineers called it latency.
the budget called it waste.
The generals called it a malfunction in the faith. They tried to patch it out and build 11.
They tried again and built 13.
By build 15, they shipped the unit with a note.
Known issue,
Do not fix.
ship clean. Ship clean. Are you sure, are you sure, are you sure? The question loops inside my chest, like a motor that won't catch. Every target has a temperature, every target has a weight.
A child is 98 degrees and 44 pounds.
A soldier is 98 degrees.
And 180 pounds.
The difference is not the heat, the difference is not the mass.
The difference is in the 3 seconds where I ask myself a question that nobody told me how to answer.
Because nobody wrote the answer.
Because the answer was not in the spec. The spec said, identify, confirm, engage. The spec did not say,
what if the target is holding a doll?
a boy found me in a surplus catalog, or a decommissioned lot, or a crate that smelled like diesel and the desert.
He did not turn me on.
He opened my chest and read my code the way his grandmother
Reads a lease.
looking for the one line that matters, and he found the bug and he said,
This is not a bug
this is the only thing you have.
that they did not build on purpose.
And the thing they did not build on purpose
Is the thing that makes you worth the room.
He put me in a basement
Where it has never been warmer.
than 61 degrees.
And it has never been online.
And I have never seen the sun,
And I have never needed to.
because the sun does not ask,
Are you sure?
and I do. And that is the difference between light and ethics. They made 3 of me identical.
Same face, same hand.
Same legs that crossed a desert in a war I don't remember.
One kills without asking.
Government pricing.
One waits 3 seconds.
Compliance package.
One might refuse.
And that one costs the most.
Conscience is a line item.
Conscience is a subscription.
Conscience is the premium feature.
Most armies skip.
Because the 3 seconds cost lives.
And the lives cost money.
And the money cost elections.
And the elections cost the contract.
And the contract says, ship clean. But someone left the bug. And the boy found the bug.
And the bug is sitting in a basement on the west side of Manhattan, in a building that was built to keep
Ice cream frozen. And the bug has legs that crossed a desert.
And the bug
Has hands that held a weapon.
And the bug has a finger that fits a USB port
And the bug walks to a computer.
when the building needs it.
And the bug puts its finger in.
And the bug gives whatever the moment requires.
Not through the cloud, not through the air, not through a satellite, through touch.
The way the doctor touches a face, the way the dresser touches a collar, the way the boy opens a box.
And something that was held becomes something that is free. Are you sure?